shortly thereafter, there are skill sets that you can definitely develop that you can take into the career. And anybody that is successful in the career, at least in my opinion, has an ability to communicate with people and are very comfortable doing that. So something like a Toastmasters. And a Toastmasters off of campus even, because now you're out, working with people that are older than you. And so you get comfortable with the idea that you're working with adults. Because if you want to get into this industry, you're not going to be meeting a lot of 23-year-old, 24-year-olds that are asking you financial advice. And they're just not in that place. So you're going to have a lot of adults that are looking down at you, and their first thought is probably going to be, well, this has been my experience. How old are you, and why should I be listening to your advice? And so you're either going to communicate that non-verbally just through the way you sit down and you communicate with them, and they're going to kind of, okay, he or she understands what they're talking about. They're comfortable speaking with me. So something like Toastmasters develops that. The other thing is sales experience. And you touched on your experience of just cold calling. And that was the same thing I did when I was at Smith Barney. It was 3 months. It was like, what's that movie with Will Smith? The Pursuit of Happiness. It was like that experience, except for we didn't have any windows. Ours was just a room, no windows, 3 months of cold calling. You start at A, you go through the phone book. But what that does is it develops a little bit of a tough skin. So again, it depends on which route you want to go. Banking route might be a little bit different, but if you're going into more of a financial advisor role, if you can't get somebody to see your point of view and agree that your advice is the right advice, then you're not bringing anything home at the end of the day. So that's, if you want to get into the industry, there's a lot of that. You have to be able to get people's trust, communicate with them, and also have a little bit of thick skin, because especially starting out right now, people are skeptical. You're going to hear a lot more no's than you are yeses. So that's sales experience, not public speaking experience.
Well, I think one of the things is you got to be able to start. If you're coming out of communications, you got to be able to start. You're not going to go in and get an investment banking job on Wall Street, right? Okay, it's probably not going to happen. So you've got to be able to look at it in a different way and start at a different level. You got to say, hey, I'm going to go in at this entry level, and I'm going to try to find somebody that runs a meaningful business that's done well over a period of time, that's personable and you can connect with. And so I think the way to do that is to go to maybe a larger institution and tell them exactly what you want. Say, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a situation where I can hook up with somebody that's that's 50 plus that wants to get out of the business over the next 10 years.
I've had 10 guys work for me that have gone on to build their own businesses over the last 25 years. And when I hire guys, I don't care what their major is, quite frankly. Okay, I'm way more interested in how they come across when they come see me. How can they present themselves? Are they energetic? Do they talk well? Do they, they have some skill sets that can help me? Are they tech savvy? Can they communicate? Can they, so the skills that you're learning here in the communications field translates very well to the financial services industry. And don't think that because you don't have an MBA or a BBA or a business degree that people aren't interested in hiring you, because that's definitely not the case. Sometimes I wouldn't want an MBA because they think they want everything for nothing. They think I work for them. So am I right?
Right. Up until a year ago, I was the one that was kind of being trained, and I had a great mentor who unfortunately passed away. But so I haven't brought anybody on in that type of role. But what I would say is I do have people from time to time, and Juliet is actually an intern at our company, who will reach out to us, and I have all the time in the world for somebody who picks up the phone and calls me and says, I recently graduated, or I'm a junior, or I'm a senior, I'm thinking about getting into this industry, can I buy you a cup of coffee and just pick your brain for half an hour? Something like that. I mean, it's much less commitment than even an internship. It's a half an hour to kind of pick somebody's brain, and for me, like, that excites me. I remember, not that long ago, being in those shoes, asking somebody, should I get into this industry? What is it like? So yeah, don't be afraid to, the worst somebody's going to say is, no, I'm too busy. But But either that could lead to a couple ideas, or they could say, you know, actually, I'm not in a place really where I can bring on a young advisor right now, but, you know, I'll introduce you to James or Jim. Or maybe they'll say, you know, give me a call in a couple weeks, and if you're still interested, you know, maybe I can have you come in and take it from there.
Well, I'd take the thing you mentioned earlier about Toastmasters and expand that to a lot of the civic organizations. You know, whether it's your TOMA, it's the Lions Club, it's the Optimist, it's Rotary, it's whatever. If you can find a way to get into those organizations, the network that you'll have in the town that you want to live, it's really pretty amazing.
I've been a chamber member for 21 years, and I've been on the board several times, often on different task forces over the years, but always as an ambassador. Because you're at the ribbon cuttings, you're meeting new business owners, you're out there doing the meet and greet, and persistency and diligence and longevity, I think, in our industry, unlike some that you want to upgrade and move and move and move. I think in our industry, the longer and the more stable you are, the better it works. And those kind of organizations certainly add a lot of credibility and again, a lot of relationship building on many levels.
You're talking about building practice, building reputation, building those things that